Hello, hello. Okay, so I hope you had fun creating your summer bucket list, whether you shared it with me or not. One of the only reasons that we say or encourage you to share it is because we all need a little bit of accountability. And sometimes when we are able to share that with someone or are able to put a deadline on something, it actually makes it happen, or it makes it happen sooner because, sometimes our timelines change, but the goals stay the same. And so it's not about making you do something. Again, it's always your choices. Like I kind of said there, we always have a choice. And that, in some discussions with people, it's not always a financial goal. But the only reason that I speak from that place is because 99% of the time, something that you're wanting to experience to create amazing memories, or saving for retirement, paying off your debt, purchasing a home, having to get a new cell phone because whatever, paying the extra for the gas, the groceries, all the things that life just throws our way cost things. But you can also have something that might be the impact that you're going to make. So maybe it's the number of people that you're going to share this with that is your goal. Whatever it is how is it going to be measured? And is it, oh, I'm going to see share it with this many people? That's something that we can discuss if you're having trouble kind of figuring that out. If you want to participate and have this, earn some of these MK bucks this summer to get some Mary Kay branded things and some other things that I'm going to let you choose from the bucks that you've earned. You'll see on the link that it has there for you right now, just that one, but I'm going to keep adding to it for the different things that you can earn your Mary Kay bucks for. And then when you accomplish one of those bucket list items, and it might just be going for a walk once a week, getting some fresh air in the sunshine. So when you do that, because sometimes we have great intentions to do certain things, or if you're newly meditating or whatever it might be, like what is it and when are you going to do it, so that you know that it can happen. One of the greatest things that I think Mary Kay teaches people that they may not even intend to learn or expect to learn is that you can really go for things, create a wonderful life. This is all about learning what to do to live the life that you want to be living. This is it. Like, this is the only life we have. So what are you going to be doing to make it how you want it to be? I want to, at the end of my life, I want to know that I lived it. I didn't just exist or get through every day, that I intentionally, on purpose, got to experience the things and create the memories with my family, my kids, that I wanted to do because I was on purpose with my time and intentional with the different things that I did. And my gosh, it's so much fun to make that list. I sat down, was asking Gia and the girls, like, what are some of the summer bucket list items that you have? And they want to be able to try out a new park once a week. They want to venture out and try and find a new park in the area. Now, that doesn't cost anything, but it's the time. So if we need to, say, drive to Coquitlam, I need to make sure we've got, X amount of time to be able to go and do that. But it's so exciting because now we get to look up different parks and talk to friends and find out hey, where's the best park, over here. And it's something to look forward to. We all need something to look forward to, something to get excited about. And so that's what the whole intention of all these things are. And now I'm going to kind of walk you through, okay, now that you know what they are, how do we set up the goal? Or I'm trying to use other words than goal too, because sometimes it's like, I don't need goals, or maybe you've done really big things in the past and now you don't have really big goals. And so you think, I don't need goals at all. Well, that's not the case, right? You still have life. And again, Mary Kay is that extra blessing that helps whatever happen. And maybe it's just Mary Kay is a time out for you. Like, often when I get to do an appointment or see people or go to our seminar thing in a couple of weeks, that is like a break for me. It's like a timeout. It is amazing. And, when I started my business and we were in horrible financial ruin, and I didn't come to Mary Kay because I was excited or whatever, it ended up being this amazing escape for me that I got to just focus on whoever was in front of me and spend time with them and make them feel amazing, which in return made me feel amazing. And I wasn't even expecting that. And I loved it. And I was like, okay, this is really good. I really like spending my time this way. And so then I wanted to do more of it. And yes, you know, I had the financial goals or whatever, but it gave me so much more than I could have ever anticipated or whatever it is. Okay, so it's all about fulfillment. I am all about now like fulfillment. We've come out of these 2 crazy years. You know, we're not fully out of everything, but you know, it makes you reevaluate and go, okay, well, what do I want things to look like now that I have a little bit more control over where we can go and the things that we can do and all of those things. Just want to live life to the fullest. And sometimes that requires courage. Sometimes that requires overcoming some things. I don't remember if I talked about the spicy mail last time, but a lot of you know me for talking about the spicy mail. So for example, say you go out for lunch and you get this and you get that, but like you don't get the drink or you don't get the spicy mail because you're like, oh, it's an extra dollar or whatever it is. But this is your chance. You're out, you're having lunch, you're enjoying. If you like to have your yam fries with the spicy mayo, then get the spicy mayo, you know, do the extra work or whatever it is that you have to do to enjoy the things that you're going to enjoy. Don't enjoy them like almost all the way, like enjoy them and do what you got to do so that you can enjoy things to the fullest. Get the spicy mayo, make it happen so that you can have the spicy mayo. Work to enjoy. I work so that I can play, so that I can enjoy, so that I can whatever, right? And okay, make a decision, get clear. You know, I've talked a lot about vision and how vision is something that should pull us towards something that we're super excited about, that we want to make happen. Goals are something that we push for, and it's like, oh, I gotta do this. But vision is you're being pulled into it and you're so excited because of it. But the goals are what we are pushed by or push for. And then sometimes goals aren't as exciting, and it's more the nitty gritty and like breaking it down. So you need to know the big picture, the vision, and that's where like the bucket lists and things come from, which turn into the goals that make the vision become a reality, right? And I want you guys to be excited about what you're doing, whether you're just, you know, sharing some products that you love with a girlfriend and maybe she'll love them too. Great. That's all that you do with Mary Kay. Amazing. That gives people an amazing impression of Mary Kay because you just love the product. You look great. And now they're like, I think I want that too. We have so many consultants that just buy the product for themselves, but have people that buy the product from them because their skin looks great. They know that they love what they're using, or they just say, hey, like, what are you using? And then they're like, oh, I'll give that a try. And then, oh my gosh, they love it too. Or maybe it's just, you know, you're chatting with the person at the counter. Like I find people are so much more chatty now than they were, because it was kind of like a get in, get out kind of thing. Like don't touch, don't talk too long. And people want to interact. They want to socialize. And so why not be a part of that? Okay. So when you are building a life that you love, you're going to have the business part of it that you love because it's supporting building that life that you love. And it's going to get you excited. You're going to have a fuller cup. You're going to have certainty and know why you're doing what you're doing. Sometimes we're like, why am I doing this? And then we don't want to do it. And then we don't get that feeling. And then we're feeling like, oh, I'm pushing for this, because you don't have the clear vision. You're not being pulled by the vision. You've got like vines and clouds and all these things in the way. And you're like, what's over there? Like, I don't even know. And so that is so important to get clear onto that. I want you to kind of think about, this might sound kind of, what's the word? Eulogy. It might be kind of like weird to think about, but it's important that you think, you know, how do you want to be thought of and remembered later? Because are you doing that now? Are you living that now? And if you're not, then now's a really great time to change that, to pivot, to make that happen. You know, asking yourself some big questions like, what do I stand for? What are your relationships like? How, in your one, sorry, I have some things written down. In your one chance on earth, what really mattered to you most? And is it mattering to you most right now? Like, are you making it matter most to you right now? Um, what did you do with your money? Would you have done things differently? Can you do things differently? If you carried on the way that you are right now, would you have looked back and been like, ugh, I shoulda, woulda, coulda? You don't want to woulda, shoulda, coulda. What do you want some of your huge life accomplishments to be? What do you want your lifestyle to be? Was there anything that was really important to you that you did all the time, that you do all the time? What experiences did you collect? And what will people miss about you when they think about you? And then I want you to go back and again ask yourself, am I doing those things? Am I doing those things that I wanted to do? The experiences are so important to me. They're the most valuable thing in the world, experiences. And so I just ask yourself those questions, because then you can say, well, we get so caught up in the everyday of just getting through the day that if you do not carve out time for you to sit down and even think about any of these things, how are you going to be able to figure out how to make them happen and carve out the time to make them happen if you don't even have time about thinking about them? And I just find that so many people get so busy being busy that you just go through life and you're just kind of putting out fires and you're reacting to this and responding to this, and instead of building the life that you want to live. And everybody has a different life that they want to live, that is for sure. So think on some of those questions. Okay, do you want to make a difference for other people? How can you do that with Mary Kay? Do you want to pour into other people's lives? How can you do that with Mary Kay? Is that helping clarify your vision? Are you acting with certainty? Or are you kind of like, I'll do this, or I'll do that? Okay. Here is how you create what we call a SMART goal. This isn't new to a lot of people. Brian Tracy is somebody that I read from long ago in university, in leadership courses that I had taken back when I was earning my business degree. And then I read about him, or books of his as well, when I worked for Lululemon. And so SMART goals are how to really make them happen, really. And what does SMART mean? It stands for, S is the specific, so simple, sensible, yet significant. M is measurable, so meaningful, motivating, achievable, attainable, relevant, so reasonable, results-based. And then T, time-bound, so time-based, time-limited, time-costed, time-sensitive, so that you can make sure that all these things are actually going to happen for you. Because you can even work incredibly hard at something, but not achieve your goals because it might be that you're not being specific enough about them, or that you're not being timely enough about them, or maybe they're not reasonable to complete this in this amount of time. So this just really, really helps you fulfill your ambitions, as big or as small as they might be. It could be about a food plan. It could be about exercise. It could be about family time. It could be whatever it is. You can translate this into all the things. Okay. And so specific is first answering 5 W questions. Ready? What do I want to accomplish? That's the first one. What do I want to accomplish? Okay. These are going to help you be clear, concise, again, have that clear vision, okay, for where you're wanting to go. So what do I want to accomplish? Number 2 is, why is this goal important to me? Number 3 is, who is involved? Where is it located? And which resources or limits are involved? Okay, so that might be getting babysitting, or that might be, I don't know, making phone calls at lunch at your other job. It might mean so many different things to so many different people. So the 5 W's: what, why, who, where, and which. Okay, number 2 is measurable. So this is about talking about the progress, which is so important so that you can celebrate all along the way, and just knowing that little bits add up to big, big things. And it's a huge part of actually keeping you motivated and keeping you moving and celebrating again and reevaluating when you need to, and pivoting. learning to be like, this isn't working. I need to change this and do this so that you can keep moving towards your goal. Okay, so you can ask questions to yourself when it comes to being measurable, like how much? So maybe it's how much time. The next one is how many? Maybe it's how many faces, or if you're talking a sales goal, how many do I need to sell, or how many hours, how much time, whatever. And the last one is how will I know when it is accomplished? So if you're going for something specific, it might not be, again, it's not going to necessarily be financial. So how do you know when it's accomplished? What is that going to look like? Is it a specific feeling that you can measure? Is it when you've set aside this certain amount of time? Like, what is it? Okay, number 3 is achievable. Far too many people fall into the trap, honestly, of setting impossible goals for yourself. Yes, absolutely, dream big. I mean, I have the dream big right there. I 100% believe in that you should be dreaming big, but I can't say I'm going to be a national sales director by July 15th. That's impossible. And so I'm just setting myself up for failure. But what would the steps be that I would need to take between now and then to get closer? Okay, and so impossible goals you might be pushing for them for a while, but then you're just going to end up giving up because you feel like you're so far away because it was not possible in what you had set out to do in the time frame that you had set out. So it should be challenging, but achievable in the time that you have. Okay. Questions you can ask yourself are, how can I accomplish this goal? So what would I need to do for XYZ? And another one is, how realistic is the goal based on other constraints, which might be financial factors, it might be another job, it might be children, it might be family restraints, like it might be just, I'm only willing to work once a week in my business. It might be, I'm only willing to work once a month in my business. It might be, I suffer from an illness and I can only work when I feel good. And so, this is my goal, but I might have to adjust it based on if I'm able to work at the times that I've set that up. Okay, number 4 is relevant. Not all goals are as worthwhile as others, right? Some of them are very relevant and very real and very important to us. And unless your overall goal is relevant to your plans for your life, then achieving it may not accomplish anything. And so that's why I always talk about, like, what do you want your life to look like? And how does Mary Kay play that role for that? Because if it doesn't impact your life, you're probably not going to be too motivated to do it. Like, what's the point, right? Kind of thing. And so that's why making that connection is just so important. So again, we're pulled by that vision and then we push for those goals to make that vision become a reality. A relevant goal, you can answer yes to these questions. Does this seem worthwhile? Is this the right time? Does this match our other efforts or needs? Am I the right person to reach this goal? Is it applicable in the current socioeconomic environment? So, I mean, that might just depend. That could be talking about like trade shows or something. If they weren't allowed to be happening, maybe it just wasn't applicable at the time. If you had a goal of like participating in so many or something like that. So does this seem worthwhile? Is this the right time? Does this match other efforts or needs? Am I the right person to reach this goal? And is it applicable to the socioeconomic environment? So now, am I the right person? I would say also, are you willing to become the right person to reach this goal? Because I can tell you, I wasn't who I needed to be before I became a director, before I became a Cadillac director, before we became a top unit, and I became a top director of a top unit. I mean, you don't know how to do any of those things until you do it. But I was willing to grow and change and learn in order to make that happen. So you might not be right now, but are you willing to be? And the last one is just time bound. Okay. And that means that you need to have a target time attached to them so that, again, you know when this might happen and is it reasonable within that time. A time-bound goal, you can usually answer these questions. When? What can I do 6 months from now? What can I do 6 weeks from now? And what can I do today? When? What can I do 6 months from now? What can I do 6 weeks from now? And what can I do today? Okay. So I'm just going to give you an example. Let's say that somebody is maybe they want to get an A on a test. You're studying for something, you want to get an A on a test. That could be a long-term goal, but the short-term goal, you can break it down. Okay, so you can say the goal is to get an A on the upcoming test that you're about to take. So breaking it down with the SMART goal, it's certainly measurable and specific. It's time bound, since the test will no doubt take place at some given time and place in the future. And you can also assume that it's achievable and relevant as well, because you have everything you need to make that happen. So, when are you going to study? How much information do you need to take in? How can you break that down? How much time do you have before the test? But sometimes goals can be modified as well, so they can fit the criteria of a SMART goal too. And the other times, the initial goal you set might already fit the criteria, but you might have to change some things if they don't. So either way, it's just that the final goal that you end up setting is a SMART goal. It's the best way to go about goal setting. It's going to help make things happen for you. I will share a little template that kind of talks about specific. It's got the questions listed, so I can post that for you. And then I'm going to post some questions that I just want you to answer again for yourself. And I'm going to give you some MK bucks for sharing them. Now, we're not going to have a meeting or a live the week of the 25th, because we've got all the seminar stuff and then I believe it's the long weekend that weekend, right? I think the 1st is the holiday. So I would love on the 8th to have oh my goodness. Zoom. I want us to get together. I want us to talk about seminar. I want you guys to hear from everybody what they took away if you're not coming with us, or maybe you were on virtually and you can pop in and tell us what you got out of it, so that we can all just come together. So just a little fill in the blanks. It's going to ask you what your goal is. It's going to, which will be measured by. How are you going to measure it? I will accomplish by, which I know is realistic, because this effort is worthwhile because, and it will be achieved by, with milestones set at. This will give you a specific plan to help you just break everything down. Okay, so I hope that's going to be helpful for you. I really do hope that you apply it, even if you just apply it to your family, even if you apply it to a different job that you're doing, if you apply it to your health, if you apply it to nutrition and those kinds of things. Everything we learn in Mary Kay is so valuable in so many ways. So there we have it. Let me know if you've got any questions, and if there's anything that you want to know specifically about when it comes to vision or your goals or breaking them down. Like, that is my jam. Setting up the time and the scheduling and all of that to make it all happen is super key. That's your next step, is setting it up. And once you've done this, then you'll be able to say, okay, here. And then often people have it all set up, but they don't do it. And here's the thing. If you're not doing it, you haven't tied it into your vision. It's not pulling you so that, I don't want to work every time I sit down and work either, but I remind myself and I think about, why am I doing this? We talk about your why all the time. It's another word for your vision. You're doing this for creating your vision. And so I would strongly encourage you to spend, we want to dive right in often, but if you haven't spent enough time on your vision and your reasons why you're doing what you're doing, when you create your goals to make it happen over whatever period of time, when it's time to sit down, when you have carved out that time, you are going to want to do what you want to do so that you can create this wonderful life. That this is why we're here, to live full out. that's all I got for you today. I cannot wait to hear about all your